now rook e1. True harmony among all the pieces. Knight protects rook and bishop, bishop protects pawn, rook protects c7 and attacks g7. I love it. I absolutely love this position. Perhaps he invented a new opening. We have the Italian opening, the Evans Gambit, but maybe Dubov created the Italian-Evans-Gambit. Is this a new opening? Dubov is one of the most creative players. I love watching his games, and recently he created a masterpiece against Sergei Karjakin. Daniil Dubov is a top Russian player. He is world number 29 at the moment with a rating of 2710. He is known for being too creative, but that can only be good for the chess world. He has worked with Magnus Carlsen before. Sergei Karjakin is also a top Russian player. He is world number 15 with a rating of 2756. He's most well known for fighting for the World Championship against Magnus Carlsen. He has the nickname Minister of Defense because he rarely loses a game. So let's check out this masterpiece now. Daniil Dubov has white, Sergei Karjakin has black. e4, e5, knight f3, knight c6, bishop c4, bishop c5. This is the Italian game. And normally you could play castle, knight f6, d3 and castle. A normal way for both sides to continue. Dubov goes c3 and after knight f6 a normal move is d3. d6, both sides can castle. But here, Dubov combines two openings, the Italian and the Evans Gambit. c3, knight f6 and d4. Take and b4. So this is what I mean by Daniil Dubov creating a new opening. He plays d4 and then b4. So he's sacrificing a central pawn. A new opening. Maybe call this the Italian-Evans Gambit. If you want to check out more of Dubov's creative games, I'm going to put them in the description below and in the top right corner to this video. After b4, bishop back, e5 and knight e4. Another option was d5, which is a normal way to react. When white plays e5, you strike in the center with d5. Maybe Karjakin was fearing some preparation. Just want to have a look at this a little bit. Take, take, take on g7, rook g8 and bishop h6. So I'm pretty sure this is how the game would have continued because this is a normal route. A normal way to play in this line. White actually gets a pawn to g7, defended by a bishop here, even though black has a cluster of pawns in the center. If black can get this bishop out, get this queen out in castle, then black is probably winning. Now, a possible variation could be this, if queen f6, but then queen d2. And by the way, I don't think check works because you have this sneaky move king d1. So this could be Dubov's preparation. Rook to the middle. King's in some trouble. Back to the game, e5 played, knight e4, and now bishop d5. Knight takes c3, forced, take, take, and it's always a nice feeling to develop with tempo. Bishop g5, you get the bishop out and you attack the queen at the same time. It's a great move. Knight e7, only good way to block. Castle, h6, bishop h4, maintaining the pin. And black now castles. One option was to eliminate this pin, but look, just looks so dangerous. If you go back, then castle, and then maybe black can find a way to break free. We need a good pawn break like d6. Now the knight can actually move to g6 or to f5, going after this bishop. So this is one route. Black castled instead. Rook e1. This pin is so annoying. So black gets out the way with queen e8. Now the knight can actually move to f5 to g6. Bishop back. Now Dubov has to save the bishop. a5. Bishop f6. Such a nice move to make, knowing your opponent cannot take it. Black played a4, bishop c4, and now knight g6. If you take, you are in big trouble. You're just asking for all the trouble in the world. The rook is very well placed on the e-file. If black tries to break, then rook takes e7. The queen can only move. Just because you attack my piece doesn't mean I have to move it because I can go after your king. So a cool move here is just a sidestep with queen c1. And black is busted. There's no good way to defend the pawn on h6. If you go king h7, now you can actually retreat the bishop with check. The king moves, then queen takes. Pawn, and there's no good way to stop queen g7, mate. What a cool variation. Back to the game, bishop c4, knight g6, queen d3. White has a threat here, which is queen takes g6. Because this bishop is pinning the pawn to the king. That's why black had to react in the center. Black had to take a move out to block this diagonal with d5. En passant, e takes d6 and bishop e6. So black has given back a central pawn, but it's very necessary in order to actually get this final piece into the game, blocking this dangerous diagonal. Now is your chance to pause the video or let it run. Can you find white's brilliant move in this position? This is the reason this game is getting all the fame it deserves. It's still using this diagonal, but maybe not in the way you expected. Daniil Dubov goes nuts. He is such a creative player, and in this game it shows. Queen takes g6, and now you crash through with rook takes e6. Rook takes e6 is better than taking with a bishop because it threatens a discovered check. And whenever you get a chance to threaten a discovered check, it's just so dangerous. Black blocks with the queen, and now bishop takes c3. So what has happened? Daniil Dubov has given up his queen for 2 pieces, whilst at the same time maintaining control of the position, which is a vital skill. He's got 2 bishops facing the enemy king, and the game has only just begun. It is so difficult for black to make any moves. Black gets out the way with the king, king h8. And the next couple of moves are one of my favourite sequences in the game, because Dubov is showing such maturity. Taking a move out to defend the bishop, then coming back with the rook. I love this sequence. Rook e4, attacking the queen. Queen moves, and then rook back to e7. So you take a move out to defend and then attack. Rook and bishop attack g7. This rook shift is beautiful. I love the control in this position. Rook g8, only move. Now white gets a bit of material back. He takes the rook, take, and now take. So not only did white have control, the 2 bishops facing the king, now he's got an asset on c7. This pawn is such a nuisance because it has the potential to become a queen. A dangerous pass pawn. Now Sergei, black goes for a double attack. It's probably his only attacking move in the entire game. Queen c2, attacking the bishop and the pawn on f2. But not to worry, because the f2 pawn doesn't really matter. Bishop e5. White has such control of the position. Bishop takes f2 check, king hides, bishop back. Now white is just improving his pieces. He's improving every single piece in his position. And he plays the move h3. Check out this position. There's a bishop on e5, protecting your asset on c7 and the rook on a1. There's a knight on f3, protecting the bishop, which protects everything. And there's a pawn on g2 protecting the knight, which is protected by the king. King h7, now rook e1. True harmony among all the pieces. Knight protects rook and bishop, bishop protects pawn, rook protects c7 and attacks g7. I love it. I absolutely love this position. True harmony among all the forces. a3 and king h2. You know you have a brilliant position when you can just take a move out and play king h2. g5, getting some space, and now knight d4. Attacks the queen, but has a chance to come into e6 or to f5. The queen goes to c4. Knight f5, played. Just want to show you knight e6 because it looks beautiful. 3 pieces. Defend and attack at the same time. I love it. The rook, knight and bishop, they defend c7, but they also attack g7. So we have 3 attackers and 3 defenders at the same time. Knight f5 played and queen takes b4. So we have a double attack, not to worry. You've lost your b4 pawn. Attacking the rook on e1, so we just move it. Notice the rook on e7 is now defended by the knight on f5. White is now threatening to promote. King g6. Pause the video now or let it run. Can you find a nice way for white to finish it off? White wants to make this work, so he throws in a deflection. Rook takes g7 check. If rook takes, then you get a queen. And you are a piece down and you've got an attack. Queen can come back here to e6. So rook takes g7 check, king takes knight, rook takes g8. There's no way for black to stop white getting a queen, so Sergei gives up the bishop for the pawn. And now take. Finally, the smoke has cleared. And white is a bishop up. Queen b2. Rook c5, check. King e4. Rook d8. And here, black resigned. Because it's going to be checkmate very soon. Black's king is stranded in the middle of the board. If black played queen takes a2, if he goes pawn grabbing, then rook takes e5, check. King f4, and now mate in a couple of moves. Actually, there are two mates. Rook d4 is a cool one. Rook d4 is mate in one, but there was rook here as well. Rook f8 is mate. Both rooks cover the e and f file. Black has to just defend for one move, but nothing changes. Rook takes f7 is checkmate. I'm so glad I came across this game, and I'm so glad I created a video to show you what a creative player he truly is. Thank you so much for watching all the way until the end. If you enjoyed this video, why not give it a like and subscribe to the channel at the same time? Make sure you hit that bell, then YouTube will let you know when I release a new video. Thanks a lot, and I'll see you later.